Okay, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Tales from the Vinyls. Today will be a little bit different because I don't own this album on vinyl, and I don't have the patience to rename the series, the video series, just for one or two albums. Also, which is probably unique for this series, is that I don't really like this album that much. But it goes to show that this series is more about albums that meant something to Sterbhaus or has a backstory or some sort of relation. Now, the album I'm going to be talking about is perhaps actually the most important album related to Sterbhaus. And I know most of you probably like this one, but I don't. To each his own. And here it is. So there you go. This is, of course, At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. And why this one is so important is that, I actually think I threw that album on my floor, but it wasn't on purpose. Anyway, the reason it's very important for Sterbhaus is that it was explicitly the reason why Sterbhaus was started in the first place. Now, I wasn't actually a founding member of Sterbhaus. There were three guys who decided to start another band. They probably had like 2 or 3 bands each. And they wanted another band where they could play different instruments. Daniel, who was a vocalist, he was a bass player in one band and he wanted to be a vocalist. And Niklas, who was the drummer in the band in Sterbhaus, he was guitarist in another band. And Fredrik Hammar, who was the initial guitarist, I think he was in the band like 2 or 3 months or something. He was a bass player in another band as well, so he wanted to play guitar. And they said, okay, we want to start a band that sounds like At the Gates, and we want to play different instruments. Now, I was the new guy. I was the old guy. I was ridiculously grateful and still am, because these guys kind of invited me into their whole social clique and all that. And it meant so much to me because I, by that time, had just gotten to know Daniel. And I was wrapping up, like I mentioned in the previous video, I was wrapping up my album, Regency, with Elvira Madigan. And Elvira Madigan meant complete solitude. It was like 10 years of my life sitting at home in the studio and talking to no one and doing my stuff. It wasn't that super charming in the end. And when these guys invited me to start playing with them, I didn't give a rat's ass what it was going to sound like, as long as it was metal. But like I said, they invited me to partake, if you will, and it was fantastic. So I'm actually very, very grateful for that. That was the starting point of Sterbhaus, even though we kind of developed, of course, and moved away a little bit from that. But the weird thing about this episode is that I won't be able to talk that much about the album itself. What I can talk about is a meeting between Daniel and Thomas Tompa Lindberg, rest in peace. That happened, I think it was 2009. So we had actually won a contest without even applying to play MetalTown, which was a festival in Gothenburg. And we had just released, I don't know if we released the album, but we certainly printed it. And you send it out. This is like I don't know if it's a demo or if it's an album. We kind of prefer to think of it as a demo these days. It's Hits for Dead Kids. And there it is. And we sent it to, magazines and stuff to get it reviewed. And after 2 or 3 weeks, we found out that Close Up actually had a contest where you could win playing at MetalTown. And we found that out. We were like, we have to send in another copy. But before we managed to do that, we actually got the call saying that we had won one of the slots. So that was just brilliant. We were pretty young. Maybe undeserving of the slot because we were probably a bit too fresh. But that doesn't matter, you know. We went to Gothenburg, and what I remember was that I was in a taxi going from the festival to the hotel. And I was like halfway to the hotel, and the city was just, it was impossible to get anywhere because there was so many people and traffic was horrible. And I got a call from Daniel. He was backstage, and he was like, "Man, I'm with Tompa Lindberg. Do you have any CDs with you? Because I want to give him a demo." And I was like, "I'm in the taxi, but what the hell?" I got the taxi driver to go back to the festival. He was mad for some weird reason because he got paid like twice the amount he should have got otherwise. So I got back to the festival, met up with Daniel. He got the CD. And it wasn't that CD. It was the first demo we released, which is a self-titled demo. And he got to push that demo into Tompa Lindberg's palms. Now, the funny part of this story is that, like I mentioned in the previous video, some musicians, when they're inspired, they might write something a little bit similar to what they're inspired by. Some don't actually write anything similar to what they're inspired by. And some people kind of steal or borrow or whatever you want to call it. And I think the latter applied to some songwriters in Sterbhaus in the beginning. And the first song on that demo is called Ponyride Thru Hell. And the first riff that kicks in is completely stolen from that At the Gates album, Slaughter of the Soul. I don't know which song, so yet again, listen to the album. You probably heard it a million times. But anyway, compare the songs if you can find Ponyride Thru Hell anywhere. And tell us what you think. I didn't know this at the time. And to be honest, I don't think I would cared at all. It wasn't important. The thing is, I kind of would have wanted to be a fly on the wall when Tompa Lindberg, if he put that demo on, and he put the first song on, and he heard their own riff, At the Gates' own riff on that demo. It would have been priceless. So, there you go. Another one. Another Tales of the Vinyls, even though it was a CD this time.
With the stage of the Dark Lord rising, where the toads of gold would welcome one and all hell. They're in the midst of the anti-cosmic previously. Thank